It wasn't the comics that were damaged. It was the toys, and it was two toys that were damaged. So
I had my
Was this a
typical
diamond shipment or was
shortages.
this a lunar shipment?
no, it was Diamond. Lunar, I never had problems with Lunar.
I only ever had one book shorted on, and that was
Yeah.
I was in a stream earlier this week where a bunch of retailers were saying that they're getting tired of all the damages from Lunar. I'm like, conflicting
I think
messages here, guys.
Lunar shorted me something, and they haven't replaced it yet. But other than that, I love the way they ship it.
Whole day late. They didn't even ship out on
well,
it.
we're down. We're a couple of man down tonight.
What happened?
Yule is having to actually work. He's making money in his shop now, so
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable. It's not about making money. It's about making comics. It's art. The money is ancillary.
Making your customers happy. It makes us happy. Giving us money, and you'll see we're right back around to this.
Yeah.
The whole money part.
And Ryan, poor guy. In fact, I'm gonna pop up the image. I modified the image. I don't know if y'all pay attention to the thumbnails that I.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to get better on the screen here. Gotta move my drink out of the way.
Oh, you're fine.
There you go. All right, RJ.
I'm good to go here.
Get loose tonight. Get loose.
Oh, that's the background. Well, that sucks. Hang on a second. I'm gonna bring you out of the stream here so you can see the background. Or maybe I won't. This computer's just too friggin' slow. I'm getting angry at it. I gotta get something faster than this. God, now it removed him. Just remove all of us, just for a second, just to get that background up there. Oh, that was fun. That'll teach me to make it an overlay instead of a background next time. Let's bring everybody back in.
What the hell happened?
I could not get any mouse control back to bring y'all in. So sorry about the big black screen, chat, but we're back. You know, I'm going to try something later tonight, just a test stream. I'm going to try running this thing out of Firefox instead of out of Chrome. Maybe Chrome is just not responsive enough for running this studio thing. Sometimes things work better in another browser. And now I can't hear you.
Are we talking?
Yes, okay. Y'all just freeze and I think it's the system. That's not funny. I'm like, crap, it went down again. Oh, Dave, when I get to your shop again here, it's never soon enough. I'm going to drop something off with you here. These came in.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I saw you post that the other day.
Yeah, we got some little keychains here. Of course, the real fun part is that they sent me a separate envelope of where did they go? They're here somewhere. I've lost some things on my desk here. Anyway, they got these little wire loops, and I gotta like pry them apart and slide them in there and pry them together, and it's like it just some of my DNA comes with these things because they just stick into my thumbs and like it hurts. Why can't you just send it with the loops already on it, or even better, one of those little chains that you push into the beaded chains. Those are better.
Yeah.
So what's up in comics this past 2 weeks, guys? I mean, Michael, what is the thing that everybody's ordering? You don't know what people aren't buying because you're not getting a shelf empty now. You're doing straight mail order.
Yeah, that's the good news about it there. Right now, of course, Batman's like the hottest thing. This new death metal, people are really interested in that. So we get a lot of requests for that. And, this new X of Swords looks like it's going to get a little action.
What is it?
X of Swords. It's a new Marvel spinoff.
Oh, yeah.
Starting out with a whole bunch of one-shots, which are just, fun to try to order for people when they say, I want them all. And you can't just place them on order for a title. The system's not set up for that.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, adventure and unpacking this week. Diamond shipped me like a day late. Didn't even ship them out on time. And then my system, I'm using Comic Suite. There were a whole bunch of people who hadn't even been on reserve for a year and ordered them copies. And then other customers who were still on reserve, they decided to skip them. So just adventures and unpacking and trying to process. And you just get labored to death trying to correct all the errors, other things that other people make.
Yeah.
Well, Bianca, thanks for stopping by the chat. And Michael Bowling in the chat. No, it's not time for Stag beer. We here in St. Louis, we'll go for the Bud Light.
Yeah, Stag is an Illinois thing. Yeah, with me, I mean, Empire is picking up steam, really good. The whole Empire storyline. So I mean, I blew out of Captain Marvel. I mean, she always does really well. I guess I just did not anticipate that the Empire storyline with her was going to be as hot as it was. So bad on me, but.
Well, people are hungry for Marvel. The Marvel zombies are hungry for Marvel.
Now that Marvel's actually come out of the gate, they're still moving pretty slow. But yeah, the titles are being gobbled up. So I mean, DC was really light this week. So nothing really jumping out of there. I'll tell you what, The Void, Dear Becky, still a hot title for me. Doing really well. Iron Man 2020, it is what it is. So, I mean, nothing that I'm going to go crazy over. I'll tell you what did really well was Spider-Man Noir. That title's starting to pick up now.
Oh, yeah? That's the one where he's the detective with the trench coat?
Yeah.
On another alternate universe?
Yeah, part of the Spider-Verse, correct. And that seems to be doing really well. In fact, I blew out of number 1. Number 2 selling really well, and I just reordered some of the number 1 to fill in the slot. So, yeah. But, other than that, everybody's waiting for the Maestro, and everybody's waiting for, what's the other big damn Marvel title? I can't remember. No, everybody's waiting for 3 Jokers.
Oh, yeah. I'm waiting for 3 Jokers.
Yeah.
So that should be coming any day. Now Maestro, is that version of the Hulk?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, you're not going to see the 3 Jokers until the Joker War, because they're going to segue from Joker War into 3 Jokers. So it's going to have to be this. So and everything's still running behind. I mean, we're going to get what do we get next week? Batman '96, and that's still Joker War. So.
Transformers versus My Little Pony, the chat says. I guess that's.
I can't wait for that. I cannot wait for that. That's going to be a fun title.
A book that's kind of surprised right now is the Legion of Superheroes with the Gold Lantern in.
Yeah.
That's got a little action going on.
I sold out of that so quickly. And not that I ordered heavy on it, but what I did, people started jumping on that one, and now I'm waiting for a second printing. And man.
It came out, it was really hot, and then it just went away. And then 7 just came out this week, and they gave him a special cover. with Gold Lantern on it, and then just everybody got interested again.
Yeah. So, and Legion's been a really solid story since the beginning. I mean, I've done very well with it. I mean, it's not blowing out, but I mean, it's finding its audience. And what I love is somebody will bring up a Legion, and I'm like, oh wow, this is your first time. They're like, yeah, I hear the story's really good, and I wish I had more of the Legion rings that you got, because I gave one to a kid the other day and got one. I go, well, you're now an official Legion member. So,
that brings them back.
Yeah. So it's cool. I tell you what, I'm really impressed with what Lunar did this week, and Michael, I don't know if you got it or not, but what's great about Lunar that I'm liking is they're sending me lots of DC advertising, of course. So they sent me a 3-poster Joker, and I'm looking over at it right now from the 3 Jokers, but they sent 3 different variations of the posters. So it's like, God, which one do I pick, And I never got any DC from Diamond, ever. They sent me plenty of Marvel stuff, but I didn't get one DC poster ever from them. And now Lunar is giving us all kinds of good little posters here and there.
Well, Lunar sort of got a focus on DC, so they can do that.
I think it's great. I love it. I got excited, I'm over there in my window. I've got the stay 6 feet apart, and it's Superman and Wonder Woman and the Golden Lasso. They're holding, playing tug of war, and it says, social distance. That's a great campaign. Marvel's not doing it.
Yeah. Well, I go with UCS. I didn't get any, Batman or Joker posters, but my orders have always been very well packed. I've only ever had one shortage, and that was on a reorder. And no damages. I mean, you get your stuff, you get it on time or early. I've been very happy with it. The service is just difference of night and day between what service I'm getting out of Olive Branch. It's a nightmare.
Michael, have you noticed? And I know every 2 weeks we have our little pitch session about Diamond, but and I'm sorry, I'm going to go that route again very quickly. But Michael, have you had problems with them recently with them reshipping titles that you already ordered, you already received, and they're sending you more and charging you?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm getting like this Faceless 2, which I only get in for customers for full orders. I don't carry it, and it's the adult, the poly bag, blackout version, and they sent me the first set, which was a misprint. And I wasn't supposed to sell that, but they went ahead and told me that after the fact. It was already sold. Then they reshipped the second print that was correct, and I just went ahead and gave those to my Polish customers and told them not to open the first one because the first one would be worth maybe some money. And now they're sending me another round. I'm like, we didn't hear.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to bitch them out and go, guys, you're sending me the same price, and they're sending me other stuff. That I already received. And you're charging,
especially I don't have a store. I don't have a way to, used to I just put it on the shelf and try to move it another way, discount if I had to. Now I'm going to have to go eBay or something like that to try to get rid of all these things I didn't order. They keep popping in and double orders. Like right now, I've got a whole bunch of Negan lives up on eBay because they doubled my order on that. I didn't need 100 copies of that.
Wish they would have done that to me.
I know. They were short. They were wanting them, and me, I got more than I could use.
Yeah. Because I don't get it. And it's sort of like, I say it's like your AT&T phone bill, right?
Uh-huh.
Most people get the bill, and then they don't look at all the charges that are in there, and they just go ahead and pay it. Well, same with Diamond. We have to watch every little thing because they're trying to charge us for shit that we didn't order, or they're resending us a whole nother grouping that I didn't order. I don't need 6 more, and I don't want to pay for it. And then you're being double charged on shipping as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and when you try to call a bit about the problem, when you try to talk about the problem, you get switched over to a phone that doesn't work, so you get disconnected that way. And trying to contact anybody by email, that's like a several day process.
Yeah.
So, the service is just gone right now.
I keep waiting that I wish Jeffy would go ahead and do whatever it is that he's supposed to be doing, so he's still not doing that. So
Hi, fellas. How are you?
Hey,
How
Larry.
you doing, Dave?
We got Larry. Larry, we were just talking about what's been selling this week and what hasn't been selling. And we've come down to the notion that it's a lot of Empire and a lot of Joker War. How's it going at your shop?
Empire did the number zeros did poorly, and then 1 and 2 came out of the gate and they were gangbusters, and it seemed to have hit a wall this week. 1 and 2s kind of took the zeros with them. People were, just excited for something, and I don't know. This week was the week I think they decided to quit. So I think it's hit a wall here. I don't know how you guys did with it, but Joker War is insane. That's one that brings them in every single week. They love it. Every single crossover is selling great. Metal is selling fantastic. Marvel, it's the Cates books. Second printings of the Cates books, just going nuts.
Yeah, Thor is crazy. Thor.
Next week, this thing's going to be insane.
Legends
I don't
of
know.
Blood Dark. I read one metal book, and it was the first one, and it was Wally West in a pit, and Wonder Woman made an invisible chainsaw, and I'm like,
I don't understand what's happening. I don't understand what's happening in it. I don't like the dark versions of the characters. I just found it so derivative and simplistic, but it's really hit a chord with customers. They like it. I tried to read metal. Tried to read it and understand what was happening. I listen to podcasts and they tell me what happened in the book. It's freaking batshit crazy, but it looks beautiful. Technically, it's might be that, but just in terms of printing in a comic book, it might be the most beautiful comic covers ever produced. With that metal and embossed. It compels you to buy it if you like superhero comics and DC.
Dave, you said it's selling out of your store. Have you read it yet, or are you just going with the?
No, I haven't had a chance to sit down and read it because I'm out of it.
That hurts.
And I'm one of those guys where I'll read a quick review, synopsis, and then when it comes out on trade, I love to sit down and read the trade. It's toilet material. So.
Well, here in our offices, we had a shipment of books come in this week, just last night, in fact. Completely undamaged, and I'm going to give myself a full screen here just to show you guys what we got in. We got in our copies of The Devil You Know, the anthology book that we published.
Nice.
370 pages of 20 short stories in here.
Awesome.
That I'm going to have. I have one left over for me because it's 20 copies for the authors. I've got them all bagged up and going out. So they've all been paid.
That's
except for 2 of them getting paper checks.
Congratulations! That's exciting. That must feel good.
Very exciting. It's been available on Amazon for a while, but I haven't gotten my copies in to distribute out. So it was 20 for the authors, 1 to send off to Ellen Datlow for consideration with the best science fiction and fantasy of the year stuff that she does, and 1 for myself, and this is my one.
Here's a sales trend for you. Last week, DC Image released the latest Ed Brubaker book, Pulp, in hardcover. It's a complete story. It sold for $17.99, and they sent us autographed tip plates. It was just one of the greatest values you could get, and customers just gobbled them up. Something to be said for maybe some of these independent series that aren't doing big numbers, maybe release them all at once in, graphic novel or hardcover form. Customers, Robert Kirkman's latest endeavor that he did with that, we've gone through 3 reorders of that so far. People, that's a new trend, is people are really liking buying the original graphic novel format.
Sure. And for as far as releasing the whole story, Michael and Dave jump in on this, but this is kind of prognosticating now, but we've gotten so used to the monthly or now the bi-weekly installment, sort of like the way we got used to tuning in every week for appointment television, to say, okay, I got to see the new episode of, whatever the show is, and it comes on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, I got to be in front of the TV. What if comics started going more towards a Netflix model, where they started just releasing the whole run of something? Boom, there it is. Probably in a trade paperback. Surely they wouldn't give you 12 separate copies of something at one time. but they might. You know, let
I
people
think
try it
I
out and then
think
come back to the
that
others.
I think Bad Idea is setting up a micro distribution network with stores where they're doing that. You can either buy the entire series as comic books, you can buy it in trade paperback form all at once. So people are exploring that. I think it depends on the content, whether that's going to work. One thing I love about the comic shop model in comic books is I like the anticipation in between issues. Sometimes part of the fun is discussing the comic shop experience. We call it battle floor. When people will just hash things out and just yap about it all month, and anticipation builds, and it's delicious when the book comes out, and
Oh yeah.
people are
Well,
excited for it. There's something
that's what we used to do at Michael's.
Yep, it's a double-edged sword. You can release it all at once, and give everybody what they want, or maybe you've got the type of product where you want to go on battle floor, and you want the anticipation, and you want the anticipation to build and the story to
Tease it
build.
out.
I like both, and I don't know what the mechanics are that would make it work for either, but I love when something exciting in a book. There's nothing better than talking about it with your peers, your friends, and trying to make the dots connect. It's exciting. It's part of what I like about comics.
Michael, are people going into withdrawals in Little Rock, not being able to come into a shop and actually talk about comics and shoot that?
They may be. I tell you what, I've got so many orders to ship out. People keep sending me emails. We want more of this, more of that. I am way busier than I thought I'd ever be by setting up and converting over to mail order. And plus, too, they got real draconian down here. All the different cities have passed laws and the states passed laws. Everybody inside of a business has got to be wearing a mask. And now they're trying to set up, the Gestapo to go around and report on your neighbors and things like that. I'm so glad I don't have my stores right now. It's just so adverse to try to.
I'm in the same position, man. It's I've had a couple opportunities in the past month to get a space, and I actually went and looked at another store. Somebody wanted to sell his store. I went, and I like the position I'm in right now. I've got my inventory, I've got my fixtures, I've got my subscriber base. I do it a little different than you, Michael. I do ship, but I also do 2 meet and greets a week. I meet up with people, and at least we have a central spot where we can meet, and customers can get their books, and we can all touch base with each other.
Whereas down here, you can only have so many people in a spot, so all the
we're maximum 10. So
yeah,
I got you. Okay.
But that is something there, Michael, where if we get out of this situation we're all in all over the country, and you don't have to worry about gatherings anymore, you could meet up somewhere and say, I got your books. Go to lunch at Whole Hog or something.
What I'm doing that's very affordable is I'm at a Radisson Hotel, and I rent a meeting room, a big beautiful meeting room, and I set it up for the day, and we do lunch, we do dinner, and people just come in and hang out.
Nothing like though just being able to walk into your corner comic shop, Cosmic Comics, and
I miss it so much
on the couch and watch the big screen.
Honestly, I'm having dreams about it every single night. I miss it so much. I really I want back, man.
Well, it's like, I keep getting these, our customers like, hey, are you doing gaming? Do you host this game? Do you host that game? Are you doing movie nights anymore? I've got it. So where I'm sitting right now, guys, is what would be called the Cosmic Coffee Lounge. So we have a coffee shop here in our shop, a comic book shop. And so where I'm sitting, right in front of me is a big 70-inch screen TV like RJ was talking about. We would have movie nights. I can't do any of that. In fact, there was supposed to have a D&D group tonight. I canceled it because one of the guys came in and his girlfriend has COVID. And I was like, get the fuck out of my shop right now. Go get yourself fucking tested. And by the way, you guys aren't gaming. I don't feel safe doing that, and eventually, and I miss that. I miss my shop being full of people.
Yeah.
Coffee, and get a hot dog and a pizza back here,
My big thing, I have a 30-year-old art club drink and draw that we meet, once a week. And we pick a theme every week, and I participated in it. I miss that so much. I mean, it's the
Is that
best.
the one that you do guys on a podcast, or is somebody else just stealing the name and doing the same thing?
I think we probably stole the name. I think
Okay.
if I know the artists, there's two artists I had met at a show before that I think they were the original Drink and Draw. I don't know, not meaning to steal it. It's just an art club.
Yeah,
There you go.
that'd be kind
It's
of a
free.
fun thing to do. You get your local artists to come in and just start doing sketches and sort of almost like a competition.
Yeah, we'll pick a theme. We all talk shit. It's the best. But I do miss that.
So
Yeah, it's a lot of work because I've had to cut my hours back, and and I know that people are tired and they're itching to get back out and be part of groups of people again. And unfortunately,
Absolutely.
Here in Illinois, where I'm at, everybody's taking a step backwards. I mean, nobody is doing what they're supposed to do. I really have this gut feeling that we're going to get locked down again, and I hate that because right over the river, which is 20 minutes away, is St. Louis, and guys, God, they're just going crazy over there getting cases left and right. And eventually, that's going to come across the bridge, unfortunately. It's inevitable.
yeah.
My
company that I work for is across the river, and we've gotten notification from our CEO says, we were bringing people back in waves. If you're not back, you're not coming back till after the first of the year. So I'm here for the next, several months now.
My store was in Massachusetts, and I'm just watching what's going on. I mean, they're being so sketchy and selective. Like they just shut down up on the beach area. They just shut down an arcade, and right across the street from it is Home Depot and Walmart with 3,200 people on top of each other, coughing, no mask. It's just rhyme or read. It is a terrifying climate to be a small business owner right now. I mean, with a whim, they can shut you down. And I kind of hate to say it, whereas I miss the store so much, I just kind of like the position I'm in right now where I can just take a wait and see how this all works out type deal.
Yeah, I got out of Dodge before it got bad myself.
Yeah, both you and Michael are like that, And
what's funny is I was open when everybody else was closed down.
I know.
Everybody else was opened up, I closed down.
Now, Michael, how's everything out there though? Are you guys still no major cases or anything, or is it starting to?
I've gotten a report from the state because I'm on the city council in the city where I live. It's a town called Maumelle. It's kind of in between Little Rock and North Little Rock. And right now, our positive cases cumulative is like 0.87%. But if it gets down to actually people with cases right now, it's like a 20th%. I mean, it's not bad at all, but everybody's, gone back crazy about, it could get bad, and
I live in New Hampshire. I don't even know anybody in my group that's got it. So, I mean, I'm lucky.
There's 26 people in the city of Maumelle that are currently positive. They're like 166 total cumulative or something like that. I mean, it's not been bad.
Right.
Well, it's a very selective virus because, if you go to a protest, it's not going to spread to anybody. But if you go to church, it's going to kill you all. So.
That's why I thought there was one guy who actually had a convention locally. And I told him, when anybody comes in, says you got too many people, just start yelling that you're protesting.
Yeah, we have the first in New England comic show scheduled for August 22nd, and it's in New Hampshire. I wonder if that's going to go off. It's not my show. I'm just wondering if the event's going to fly.
They did one in
science fiction convention. Yeah.
New Hampshire's very pro small business, so.
They did a Cape Con a couple of weeks ago in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, which is, maybe 2 hours away. 2,500 people, and from what I understand, nobody was wearing a mask, including the celebrities. So,
oh boy.
I'm waiting to see what's going to happen number-wise there.
Well, the Archon convention in Collinsville was scheduled for October, and I got the notification last night that has been postponed until next October, so it's off for this year.
And Cape Pride Fest, which happens right out in front of my shop, that was canceled. Belleville also canceled their Oktoberfest and all the other.
Oh yeah.
I do 24 shows a year, fellas. Do you know how much I miss? going to a show, digging through boxes, the action, seeing the people setting up. I mean, I've done New York Comic Con since it was a Fred Greenberg convention in 1988. I've done it consecutively every single year. This will be the first year. Oh, I missed 9/11. But I just bored.
Here's the real shame about all this is that, there's no new TV shows on. There's no movies being released. People are just hungry and desperate for something new to, for entertainment. And this is the biggest opportunity the comics have ever had. And what do? They shut it down. I mean,
it's rolling now, though, bud. I mean, this upcoming week is going to be just crazy. I mean, that Legends of the Dark Knight Metal one shot. I mean,
everybody's interested in that one. Yeah, I'm getting emails about
constant inquiries about that. It's a week that Batman ships. It's a good DC slate. It's a good Marvel slate. Last week was fantastic. People are excited.
Yeah, that metal's already gone to a second printing. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. The interest in comics is there, but I think we really, we're slow to get onto it, and Marvel's still slow about coming back.
I've had plenty to sell for a month, man. It's plenty of stuff out.
Perch, welcome to the show. The most reviled man on Twitter. Everybody hates him on every side of the aisle.
Just today.
Hi, Perch.
Hey there, doing well. Great to talk to you all. Sorry for being late, and I just wanted to let the conversation go. Great listening to you all.
Perch, what was up with that Twitter thing today? I couldn't even understand it.
You never know. I mean, there's always somebody who's upset. I mean, there's crazy people.
I think it was that was a troll.
Sure,
that wasn't real.
They're all trolls.
Larry, you mentioned that you got an inside line to Nick Ferrucci, and I'm gonna need that.
I'm not calling Nick right now. Fuck that. Nope. I think he's got some troubles.
Theory.
Well,
I am nursing a conspiracy theory here.
I have two conspiracy theories. Let me say mine first.
Okay, go ahead.
I think that Nick and Ethan could still be working together, and that they are setting people up to sue the fucking shit out of them, because Nick is a smart man, and trade has been restricted, inhibited, on some end. That's one of my conspiracy theories. Now let's hear yours.
Well, my conspiracy theory is, 2 weeks ago or thereabouts, Dynamite had to pull that cover because everybody and their mother was pulling out of Dynamite. Mark Russell was pulling out of Dynamite. Carla Pacheco was pulling out of Dynamite. Gail Simone was pulling out of Dynamite, all because Dynamite did an alternate cover of Vampirella with a friend of Ethan Van Sciver's. And like, okay, you sided with the wrong people. Well, here's the thing. Those people were at the end of their contracts or were not making Dynamite any money. So Dynamite pulled the cover and said, okay, we won't do it. But that was not really the impact that I think was desired, because these people were not making money for Dynamite. You know who does make money for Dynamite? And Larry, you can probably check, all you guys can check your registers and see what's been selling on this. Jay Lee makes money for Dynamite because he puts those covers out there that make books jump off shelves. So when Tom King goes after Jay Lee for doing a cover 6 to 8 months ago for Ethan Van Sciver and sends a hate mob after him and lets it linger out there for 4 days because Jay Lee's not on Twitter and doesn't see it, and Jay Lee's trying to scatter the ashes of his dog at the beach and has to turn back around because people are bombing his phone saying, why are you involved with a Nazi group? And getting him all upset. You tell me that one of the people that Jay Lee doesn't call is Nick Ferrucci, because that's who it was absolutely aimed at, I'm convinced. And I think Tom King was not trying to do anything to Jay Lee. I think he, other than use him as a battering ram against Nick Ferrucci, because as soon as that happened with Jay Lee, what did Diamond do? Diamond completely denounced any connection with Ethan Van Sciver.
It's not Diamond. It's not Diamond. It's Dynamite.
Dynamite. I will always get those things conflated.
I'll tell you why Tom King did it. Tom King did it because the B cover, the Jay Lee cover, hit the internet. He wasn't aware of it, and he just had already promised his buddy Mitch Gerards the covers. That's it. He threw a hissy fit because he couldn't get his friend a job, and he fucking buried the guy because He was pissed because he couldn't dole out the job. That's my opinion.
I did not know that Mitch Gerard's had a potential shot at that alternate cover.
He's his ongoing collaborator on all his miniseries. You know, he does most of his covers.
I have noticed that there's been that connection. I've noticed also that, my calling out Tom King, Tom King did not block me for these comments, but Mitch Gerard sure did, and I didn't even bring him into the conversation. I just noticed that he started blocking us. Like, somebody's sensitive.
I lost my mind on social media over that. I mean, it really drove me nuts because I'd met Jay at a very, years ago, and he's just always just a sweet, almost naive, sweet kind of fella. I couldn't believe that they were attacking him. I was pissed.
I can't believe that Jim Lee didn't come to Tom and say, "Hey, this is my friend who I came into the business with through Image years ago. What are you doing?"
I think there's a little animosity between those two because in the 90s, it was always every interview it was brought up. People would ask if they were brothers or relatives, and I think they were both annoyed about that. I think I think they had decades of annoyance with that.
Well, we do have another story that cropped up recently. I'm just going with a part of the story. Bleeding Fool has somebody who basically infiltrated a secret Facebook group of women in comics, and it's where a lot of the targeting of who's going to get the next Me Too done to them. But out of that story, we find out that 5 years ago, there was a story 5 years ago that Stephanie Cook, who is now an editor with HMH in Canada.
Who the fuck are half of these people?
Well, Stephanie Cook was the assistant to
I know,
Bill
but
Willingham.
I cannot believe how the comic book industry is reacting and acting to fucking Stephanie Cook, Tim Doyle, Renfrew, all these shitbirds that are, they don't do anything. They're just social media trolls, and everybody their words hold so much weight. I don't give a shit about these people.
I don't get what it is either, but let me get Michael and Dave filled in on what the actual story is here, because I think they're a little behind on it. Stephanie Cook was the assistant to Bill Willingham while he was doing Fables, and Bill Willingham basically discovered that she had embezzled in excess of $10,000 of his money through credit card usage and going to different shows and doing things, using it for her own money, and has an open investigation with the police in Minnesota. Now, Stephanie Cook is back in Canada, and you would think that, $10,000 embezzled from a legend like Bill Willingham would have made the news, and it did make the news for a blip. There was a story at Bleeding Cool all about this, the embezzlement. But if you find any links to it now and follow them, they go to a 404 page. That story has been wiped from the Bleeding Cool system, and largely because Bleeding Cool employs, Rich Johnston, and has also had it as a contributor, Alex the Campy, and both of them are also in that secret Facebook group where they're, collaborating with each other. Perch, did you ever come back to the microphone?
No, I'm here.
Gonna say no.
Wow, that's crazy stuff. But I mean, everybody is entitled to a political opinion. Where I draw the line is when you try to force your opinion on other people or try to ostracize other people because they have a different opinion than you. This isn't even
a political opinion, Michael. This is women in the comic industry conspiring to take people down.
The Me Too stuff. And then the embezzlement, that kind of falls in the same category in that they decide who they'll go after and who they'll just get a free ride to. And, it just,
Gotcha.
they're just, the way they're playing the favoritism, they'll attack certain people, they'll let other certain people do whatever they want to. It's a pretty crazy time. I mean, I can see why a lot of people would say this is not an industry I would want to work in.
Yeah. Now,
who is the girl with the dildo picture today?
Oh, God, I don't know. I didn't get on today, thank God.
Tamara Bonvillain posted a picture.
Bonvillain.
Yeah, she posted a picture of herself with her best friend, a giant dildo. I mean,
yeah.
I started reading comics when I was really heavily reading comics when I was 17, 18, 19. I just can't even imagine if I had opened up my comic buyer's guide and there was John Byrne spread out on a couch with a giant dildo. I mean, how are these companies letting contractors social media do these just demented demented
they don't have an HR
things.
department.
They don't. Yeah, they don't, and
They don't have
they
an
don't
HR
have.
department, and contractors aren't subject to their HR rules if they did have one, which is
Like,
why
it's
they
going
have
to come. It's
contractors.
going to come back and bite a big. Something is going to be precedent setting. Some of this stuff, like people taking pictures of their ass, but people who work on the comics posing with giant dildos. Something is at some point is going to affect a parent company in a way that's going to be precedent setting, and they should get this stuff under control.
They
Shot
should.
that Larry just mentioned there is Robbie Rodriguez, who basically sent that out on Twitter to Ethan Van Sciver 2 years ago.
So
and it was a
always
close-up.
Ethan.
Yeah, I mean they should
Always
get it under
Ethan.
control, but there's compelling reasons why they don't.
This week I was going to bring up, and I can't recall what it was, but it's creators be crazy. I don't know what is going on lately, but editorial really needs to start pulling some reins in and getting the bullpen back together. Let's make comics and quit making controversy.
Well, did everybody?
Remember when comics were fun?
Yeah, Dave, go.
Has everybody seen what the Emperor Hulkling? Did anybody check that storyline out?
When I was in college, I wanted to plop down $5 for two guys making out in space. I mean, that's the best.
Well, I mean, it caught a lot of my customers off hand. They weren't expecting that, and I mean, it's not like it sold really well.
I don't care about a gay kiss, but I didn't like the all cuddle Batman issue either.
Right.
I mean, I prefer a little more action and story and less romance in my story.
That's my point too. It's like, look, it's just when I grew up, and I'm probably about Michael's age. When I grew up and comics were 20 cents, 25 cents, it was just, I mean, nothing was political about it. Nothing was trying to make a statement. Everything was just about having a superhero and all of that. Now we're into this whole different thing, and I got caught off guard because I didn't know about it, because I didn't read it, and I have other customers telling me about it. So I have to be careful on some of this because you can offend. It can be offensive to other people. I don't care, but it's the point that comics are not what they used to be, and everything now has to be very PC. Politically oriented, you have to be careful what you say here and all of that. And so reality is creeping into the comic books today. We're back in the day that didn't creep into anything.
I think there's always been politics in comics. Always been politics in comics. But what's different now is you didn't have when Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams, when they told a political story in their Green Arrow run, they didn't then, anybody who disagreed with them, they didn't then tell them to not buy their books and call them Nazis. I think that there's always been a political message to an extent, but you didn't notice it because the creators weren't out front just, bashing the customer and bashing shops if you didn't agree with them. I think this is all a very antagonistic creator group, publishing group.
Oh, it really is, yeah. And the first law of every debate is the first person to call the other one a Nazi, that first person loses the argument automatically.
Yep.
Once you pull out the Nazi card, that's it. You lost. Your everything you say is discredited.
No, it's a shame that it's gotten here. I mean, it is, and a lot of it is you've got these. Oh, yeah, good. So you said earlier, there's this independent contractor factor, and it's got the companies in a very weird middle ground where they don't want to weigh in on this, because if they do, then they acknowledge the fact that they have some control over the ICs. And if they acknowledge they have some control over the ICs, it's going to open them up to a lot of liability unless they completely manage it. So they're playing this very dangerous game of letting it all kind of linger and hiding behind the excuse of it being a freelance position. But that only stretches so far. And there's precedent. Before any of this happened in tech, in biotech, they played the same game with independent contractors where they pretended, oh, they're not actual employees, so we don't have to deal with stock, we don't have to deal with a lot of these other pieces. If they get in some kind of HR issue, we don't really have to take ownership of it. And it ultimately went to the courts. They lost. They had to pay big time. And it's just, this is the future of comics. It is going to roll out. It's just right now they're just playing chicken basically with this idea of we don't have to take full responsibility, so we won't as long as we humanly have to. But
plus,
that only lasts
contractors are a dime a dozen. I work
Sure.
as a contractor, and when I can tell you the story. 10 years ago, I was at a place, and there was an IT contractor who was a friend of mine, who was also a science fiction and anime fan. And one day he wasn't there, and I was like, "Well, where did my buddy go?" I'm not going to mention his name here, but I ran up to him again later on. I said, "Hey, what happened? You just suddenly weren't there." He's like, "Well, I went to Anime St. Louis, and my picture got taken and was put in the paper. And somebody who was a full-time employee went to HR and said that I went to a porn convention." And being a contractor, there was no, need to listen. It was like, it's not worth our time to have this drag out. You're just gone, and it's easier to replace you with somebody else.
That's right. And the comic industry, I mean, the big publishers definitely use this as, if the noise level achieves any kind of threshold, they're just going to dump it. And that's one reason why you see these groups kind of circling the wagons and protecting some of this behavior, because they're playing their own game of chicken with the publisher, saying, if you go after one of our guys, then you're going to hear all of us revolt too. So we're both, they have each other in a stalemate. It's going to break with some really bad piece of activity. And in many cases, there may be a whole second half to all these Warren Ellis allegations and all that kind of stuff that comes to roost a little bit when there's some serious legal consequences. Right now, it's in the world of flirting and kind of, bad behavior in that respect, but that's not really legal. But there probably is something in there that can be connected back to a publisher, and that's when this all falls apart very, very rapidly. And so it's a very fragile state, what's happening right now.
How does Scott Alley not connect that to Dark Horse? I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, and it's why
That's
the whole
insane.
thing
He's worked for them ever since I've known them.
Sure. I mean, the whole thing is hypocritical. You've got people out there who still, I mean, there's still some names out there. If you've gone to a lot of shows, you've heard, and they haven't bubbled out yet. They will at some point, and a lot of it really starts to hit with the upper management. That's where some of this stuff really tips. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, they got rid of some, contractors and artists at DC, but with Eddie Berganza for a while, it was like, just make sure tell him he has to leave his door open when he has a meeting in there. Yeah.
So I mean, I again, it's the only way this is going to change is something really bad's going to happen. It's going to affect everybody. Unfortunately, unlike tech and biotech, they're not spinning off hundreds of millions of dollars. This is a very fragile industry. They can't really afford this. So if anybody of any intelligence at the senior leadership level would be figuring out a way to rein all this in, rein in the social media behavior, rein in the way people attack each other, do it now. You guys can't survive big scandals.
The only thing that I'm not seeing in other that is unique to the comic book industry right now is the antagonism towards the retailers, towards the customers, the sexual whatnot that goes on in every single industry. But what industry are the manufacturers, the employees like turning, on the customers and just being rude like they are in the comic book field? I mean, it's demented.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been war on Twitter these past 2 days, and a lot of that's because I'm not gonna throw names out there, but I'm gonna say this: if you're an awful person and you get cancer, you're just an awful person with cancer.
Yeah.
My family's going through that right now. It makes you really, it's stressful, but it doesn't make you a fucking lunatic.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want anybody to go through cancer, but if you're having breast cancer, that's terrible. But if you were an awful person before and you get cancer and you remain an awful person, you're an awful person with cancer, and that's what you are. And it's not a shield that you can hide behind and still be an awful person.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing to go through. You get really sick, but it doesn't make you a vindictive lunatic.
Well, I mean, those behaviors were always there. I mean, this isn't something that came as a result of disease. And it is a shame that the people are struggling with this stuff and they're fighting with it. But it's also a shame that they're spending these in what could be very, very precious hours stirring up this crap. You spend a lifetime in comics. When you contribute something back to comics, I would hope most people, most of us would want our legacy to be something productive, something that stands, that lives beyond us, that is people can hold and has added value. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Do you think this is
with cancer?
Yeah.
Do you think this is just about jobs? Is this just about fucking torpedoing the competition? Let's brand them. Let's brand them this and just torpedo them right out of the way, and then it's my job.
I definitely think. I mean, one of these stories that I've hit lately, because I've been, for whatever reason, I don't know why, I've got a lot of little indie comic creators that are writing me lately. At the very, very start of their career, they're just trying to get into the business, trying to create things, and I've got a lot of. And there's a common story that I've now heard about 6 times, saying, "Hey, I'm in some of these groups. I'm in the one people are talking about, and there's a lot of pressure for us to run blockchains at the indie level. We have to do it. If we don't do it, people look at us kind of sideways, like, why are you talking to the enemy? Why are you, if you want to make it in this industry, you don't want to piss off the wrong people. You need to run these blockchains and get these people out of your mentions, and they're really extensive." And this one indie creator who's I'm going to do an interview with, and she's going to just talk about her experience directly. She runs this blockchain. She feels pressured into it. She immediately discovers that there's like a third of the comic shops were in that chain. So now she's blocked a bunch of the people she's going to do. And she came to believe that this was this very sneaky, very manipulative way to put a ceiling over her head so that, she capped her own career. So she's like, I couldn't show my art to people when I was trying to show things I had blocked. It was like I shot my own career in the head. And so
I don't know if anybody can hear me on Twitter now. I'm blocked by so many people.
Yeah, well, I mean, but it makes you wonder, though. I mean, it's like, so why did they pressure her to do this if it hurt her own career? She's trying to get a leg up in this industry. It feels manipulative. It feels like some of these people who are B and C talents who do not have a career are encouraged to manipulate.
I've been leaning more and more the past couple weeks that this is, the good guys and the hating guys, and more about just torpedoing people for jobs. Get these people out of the way, label them this. This is so easy to just spout off a few words, get it attached to their feed, get them branded as this, and, more for me, more for my friends. Tom King tried to fucking annihilate Jay Lee because he wanted Mitch Gerard doing the B covers, and he was fucking pissy. He was waiting for the editor to say, "Hey Tom, who do you want doing the B covers?" And he picked Jay Lee, and Jay's cover kind of spoiled a little bit of Tom King's plot too. I think it pissed him off. You didn't know whether it was going to be the original Rorschach or the new Rorschach, and Jay Lee's cover spelled it out that it's old school Rorschach and Dr. Manhattan's involved, So I think he was a little bit pissed about the content of the cover, and I think he was pissed off that his frequent collaborator and the guy who does all his B covers, Mitch Gerard, didn't get to do the covers. And he said, "You know what, Mitch? I'll get you these covers. I'm going to fucking bury this guy." Jay Lee has been working with Ethan since the 1990s. The first time I met both of them, they were both at Harris Comics. Jay Lee's done Cyberfrog covers in the 90s. Pinups. He might have done a Cyberfrog story. People that you come up in the business with, they're your friends. Do you turn your back on your friends when they ask you to do a cover because he talks shit on the internet? I mean, fuck no. These people are nuts.
Birch, we got a question for you in the chat here from Sci-Fi for Me TV. It says, what are the chances that kind of thing is about controlling the ones breaking in, make them dependent on the established
100%.
100%.
Yes.
That was my point. 100%. That's what it feels. That was what this indie artist who's going to, I think, give a tremendous interview. That was her feeling, was that she was talented and her work looks good. And she had come to the conclusion that this was an attempt by some of these, I say big names, but they're not really, to basically torpedo her career as it's getting going, to prevent her from showing her work to different companies, to limit her audience. Because when you're brand new and you don't have a name, one of the things that the editors and others look for in your pitch is what's your social media following, what's your Instagram following, what's your portfolio look like, who's talking about you, what kind of buzz do you have? Well, if you run a super extensive blockchain, you could wipe out 50% of the comic audience on Twitter very easily. And that's extremely counterproductive for a new artist coming into this.
The other thing to consider, Perch, is that maybe the person who instructed her run the blockchain wanted her in her posse, her group.
For sure.
All these big artists and big writers, you know what I mean? They have all these, creative people who follow in their wake. And that's a big selling point. Like when you go to another publishing company, you take, your entourage with you. You know, so you're not just buying Tom King, you're getting Mitch Gerard in the B covers. You know, and you're fucking pissed off that wasn't him.
I
So
absolutely think this was manipulation. It was control, and I think it's dirty. I think there's a lot of people, especially people breaking into comics. They're young, they don't know the business. They're looking for mentorship. They're looking for help, and they're being given advice that's basically going to side rail their career.
That creator might have seen potential in this young artist and said, you know what? She is not there yet. She might be there in 6 months. And by having her run this blockchain, it's going to isolate her from anybody else seeing her. And I can come back in 6 months and see if I want her in my entourage. That's exactly control. You nailed it.
I completely think so. I mean, it sounds dirty. It sounds very sneaky, but yeah, I think that's absolutely what goes on.
But Tom King is a CIA agent. He knew. He's using this hate group thing. He just took the tools that were available to him to fucking bludgeon Jay Lee to get Mitch Gerard's job. This isn't about the good guys and the hating guys. This is about control, about jobs, and that's what I believe it's about.
And one of the things that we like to do on this channel is we like to feature these up and coming independent creators. I've been live streaming every night for the past 2 weeks, which is new for me. It's been very busy. But you know, I'm following a lot of people who are in the Comicsgate movement, and I'm following a lot of people who are in the mainstream. If people start running blockchains, then they can't see me. They can't see my call for DMs to set up their live stream to help promote their books and get their name out there. Which I am an avenue, not a huge avenue, but I'm another avenue for people to get on here and promote their work. And we have gotten to the point now where we're starting to see when people come on our show, they get a bump in their crowdfunding because people in the audience bought the book, and that's what I was trying to do, was help them sell their books and get things going.
That's nice.
But I follow some of the wrong people. So if you follow a chain, and Michael and Dave, a blockchain on Twitter is where if you don't like a person on Twitter, you can block that person just like you can on Facebook. You just say, I block you, you're gone. But Twitter allows for a blockchain where you can run some code and says, I'm blocking person A, and I'm blocking every person that follows person A, and I'm blocking every person that person A follows, which can trickle down to thousands.
I'm blocked by Al Ewing, and I've never spoken to Al Ewing in my lifetime.
I'm blocked by Al Ewing, and I presented him an award the year before he blocked me for best comics artist at Marvel Comics. So go figure. That's just the blockchain.
I think he's a writer.
I know that. Okay. He best comics writer for I don't know, it was 3 or 4 years ago now. We do the annual awards, but yeah, this blockchain business is destructive.
I talk to who I want to talk to. I'm not part of any group. I believe what I want to believe, and I get messages from both sides. Why are you talking to this guy? Why are you talking to that guy? Just fuck off. I mean, I don't tell my friends who they can talk to or limit. I do whatever I want, and you get the benefit of being independent, but sometimes you're isolated. I'm not part of a group, and I never will be.
It's blockchains are interesting because they are they're irrelevant for big name creators by and large. You look at Al Ewing, he's blocked half the internet or more. Dan Slott has as well. A lot of these guys have, and it doesn't impact them. Their numbers are okay. It's because they have the platform of Marvel behind them. If you're going to be on Hulk and you're putting on that, you get some buzz from that book, you can still survive. As much as it might irk some people, and definitely as people say all the time, I'm not going to buy the work of any creator who blocks me. The sales numbers show it's not hitting them. But for the medium to low, or the lower creators and the new creators, it's extremely destructive because you're putting your pitch out to different companies. You're trying to build your career. Those people just get kneecapped by that behavior. So
that's 100% it, though, Mitch. Perch. That kid is a rube getting off the train in a big city, and the shock is coming up to the rube and just isolating him, either putting him in his group, putting him on a shelf, directing him. That's all control. That is somebody manipulating a young artist.
Yeah,
it's very much the new kid coming into high school, and somebody coming up and says, "Hey, you're going to sit with us. You don't want to talk to those over there. They got cooties. You don't hang out with the cootie crowd."
Sure.
And cutting off, potential avenues of promotion. So, I don't know. I liken this whole thing to because it acts so cult-like. I liken it to religion. I look at the mainstream. If the mainstream comics publishing houses are the Catholic Church, then all this Comicsgate stuff is Protestantism, with all its schisms and split downs and different denominations, all the way down from fundamentalist comics to Westboro Comicsgate. I use that term on purpose for the acronym it forms.
I've always been trying to put my finger on just who's the point man at Marvel and who's the point man at DC that's causing this huge cultural, I don't know, this whole political movement. But today I heard an interesting
Marvel
thing.
Is Sana Amanat.
Well, I heard something interesting today. In an interview with Kelly Sue DeConnick. A lot of these people share the same agent. It's an agent who gets these people into, whether it's a male or female agent, gets them into their mindset and their way of thinking, and this agent is controlling this whole group of creators. So that's kind of another direction to kind of investigate, because I've always wondered, like, who is it at every company. I know Sana Amanat, I know her gig.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm gonna have to bail. I've got to get back to working on my mail orders.
Good to see you, buddy.
Good
Hey, Michael, it was great to talk to you again. I don't talk to you nearly enough. I should tie you up sometime.
Good
The best.
Y'all again soon.
Yeah.
Bye, Mike.
And just to change topics real quick here, since we are up at the top of the hour and we don't want to keep everybody here any later than we already have.
My phone will run out of juice soon.
Larry.
See, mine's plugged in, and I'm using the Bluetooth headphones, so hopefully that keeps me powered up. Dave, how's the things going with the world of Godzilla? I know that the last time we talked, there was that the toy company was losing the license, or I forget the exact details. Have they had any progress on that?
Yeah, NECA pulled out. Bandai is no longer producing Godzilla toys, which is a major upset, and Playmates just recently launched photos of their new line of Godzilla vs. King Kong, and it's so horrible looking.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know what is happening. So, another major company out of Japan, I forget the name, it escapes me right now. They are no longer going to be producing Godzilla, and that guy Japan is like flipping the lid right now. So. I don't know what's going on. There's some really bad. I mean, you're still going to have SH Monster Art, still going to have X Plus producing Godzilla for the Godzilla King Kong movie, but I don't understand why these companies. The only thing I can think of is that Toho, who owns Godzilla, has just priced themselves out of these companies wanting to even license it. So Toho owns Godzilla. NECA comes in and they want to license or renew their license to produce Godzilla toys here in America. And Toho has jacked up the price so much that NECA goes, no, we can't do this. It's not a sound decision. Or you price yourselves out of us even being able to afford a license. I mean, it all comes down to that bottom dollar. So I don't know what's going to happen. Why Playmates had the money to do it, and I don't know, because it's a crap company. They always have been.
Playmates is not known for their best sculpts.
No, the last thing that Playmates ever did that I think anybody ever liked was Ninja Turtles. That was the original Playmate. I hated what Playmates did with Star Trek, Next Generation, all the Trek toys. Yeah, it's not high quality. It's very low quality at a cheap price point that you'll find at Walmart and Target, that you're not going to find at your normal comic book retailer, because we kind of, for one thing, it's usually never even offered to us. And then so you can buy it at a cheap price point, so your kid can tear the shit out of it.
Maybe McFarlane Toys will step in.
I love them.
McFarlane, and I just said that today. Why did McFarlane step in and do this? Because we've got this massive void now that NECA's not doing it. McFarlane should step in because they just released their DC collectible line, and they're beautiful, gorgeous, well made. Of course, McFarlane always does good stuff, but McFarlane's back, hot right now. So your DC Superman and Batman are the armored ones. They look like something that stepped right out of the Spawn comic book. The animated ones that McFarlane did, outstanding. I mean, I'm just blown away.
Both the comic book issues where those armored figures first appeared are now key issues because Todd made toys of them. I mean, exactly. He is the man. The Hellbat armor, and I forget what the Superman one was, but both issues now are like quadrupled in price, and everybody wants the issues just because of Todd. He is Todd's the absolute best. I love the DC is Jim Lee is slowly getting his meat hooks into Todd, right? Giving him a little bit of this, little bit of that. Oh, we're gonna make a statue of your Batman, Todd. Oh, make some more toys, and then he's gonna pounce and he's gonna say, "Do a Batman cover, Todd." You know, and then he's going to say, do a 6-issue Green Lantern story, Todd. And that's all I want because I don't give a shit about Spawn. I like Todd McFarlane drawing my guys. So I would love to see him drawing a main line. Just a cover from him.
Well,
a Todd
God
McFarlane.
Knows it'll be Spider-Man.
Yeah. A Todd McFarlane. Well, do you remember years ago when they do that Heroes Initiative where everybody at the con draws a Spider-Man cover and then they raffle them off for a charity? Todd hadn't drawn Spider-Man in 15 years. And Todd's Spider-Man said, hello, motherfuckers. Do you remember me? I'm Todd McFarlane. His was he did double both sides. It just blew everybody. And it was a who's who of everybody drawing Spider-Man. And he just beat their eyes shut. It was just insane. I love Todd McFarlane.
I do too. He's one of the best. He's always, in fact, on my leg here, and I can't twist it to show you, but one of the first tattoos I ever did as a tattoo artist was on myself, and it was Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man crawling up my leg. So doesn't look
good
like
choice.
What's that?
We get somebody. We'd have somebody in the store once a month. Larry, do you remember that Batman where he's going? Rah! No, can you give me any more reference? Well, I need that because I'm going to put it on my chest. You know the one where Batman's going, ah! And then you'd have to spend 2 hours looking for the image for the guy to go get his tattoo. And then what'd be worse, they'd come in and they'd expose themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Say, look at my tattoo. Oh, it's great looking, buddy.
Yeah.
You look great.
Put it back down. I'm sorry, if you're going to get Batman on your chest, you just get the yellow oval. That's what goes there.
Yeah, exactly. I'll put it on my butt cheek.
Oh, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that.
No, don't do that.
Tamara Bonvillain, mate.
Oh, yeah. Well,
hey, at least when I'm mooning, I'm really mooning something. So
there you go. All right, guys.
I can't believe that there's going to be no consequences from a Marvel contractor putting a picture on social media, lying on a bed with a giant fucking dildo. I just can't believe.
And
so
the
lingerie,
by the way, Larry.
Mitch Brettweiser's wife votes for Trump, and she's blacklisted from the industry, a fantastic colorist. And then the other colorist who votes the correct way can post pictures of herself lying in a bed with a giant fucking dildo. I mean, this is a demented industry right now.
Tamara also has the negligee pulled down for nipple exposure. You needed to know that much, but Tamara's, Tamara's nipple is not the same as showing, Mitch Breitweiser's wife's nipple because women.
It's all stuff we don't want to see.
please.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
I don't know.
Good night.
See you, bud.
Good night. We're
Nice
going to
talking to
close on that. It's a
Good night.
time to close.
Godzilla. Ah!
Okay, you're going
right,
to
guys.
leave me with a nipple image in my head that I don't want.
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you for that. We'll see you.
All right, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Two and two.
Everybody.
Everybody
All right.
in the chat, we appreciate
Okay.
you being here. Hit the links up. Devil You Know is now out in paperback. You can get that on Amazon. I've got my hands on a copy here. 370 pages, 20 stories. Appreciate y'all being here. Peace out.